Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for being so patient. Welcome back to the Blizzard ANZ Twitch channel for the ANZ HGC Preseason Qualifiers. Who will be joining our top three teams in Premier Division? Who is going to take the reins alongside Nomia, Crimson, and Outlaws? Because Darksided, being unable to field their core of three, were unable to auto-qualify. That is why we're having these qualifiers, and speak at the Devils themselves. Darksided, our former champions, with a brand new roster. Nice and shiny looking too, with those brand new DS tags, going up against the QM Warriors in this round number 3. But don't worry, because there is another game coming up after this one. So there is, if you're not satisfied already, we have got a fourth course just coming your way. So without further ado, I'm going to pass you back over to the ANZ OG casters, Skimmy and Vandy, to take you through this one. It's Darksided versus QM Warriors.
That it is indeed, and what a narrative this one is. Darksided coming back. They won Season 4. They ultimately went to BlizzCon, the mecca of esports, the highest of anything that you can ever achieve in Heroes of the Storm. But here they are, not auto-birthed like Nomia, Crimson, and Outlaws. They have a brand new roster, which means they have to go through the qualification process all over again. Once again, Vandy is joining me as we bring this game. It's Darksided up against the QM Warriors. QM Warriors just went up against the Mickey Mouse Fan Club, which is what used to be the majority of Darksided. So if that's anything to go by, if you're a superstitious person, you'd argue that Darksided had the lead.
Darksided are definitely coming on top in this one, with both games that they've played so far being wins. Quick Match Warriors, on the other hand, or QM Warriors, as we're going to probably shorten them, they have actually had a loss. So, I mean, I'm not going to reiterate because we saw that wonderful graphic in the break there, but I mean, I'm very, very excited to see how this draft unfolds. And more so, I really want to see, we saw Darksider's new roster play in the one-day competition that we had before the preseason even began. And they were looking quite strong, although they didn't walk away with a win.
Yeah, they didn't win in the end, but I mean, it's interesting to see how things can change during an off-season. We had that pre-trainer to the preseason earlier in this month, obviously, to get a bit of a taste, a bit of a feel for what people and teams alike had been up to during this off-season break, how they've been preparing, what kind of strategies they were going to give us a little bit of an insight into. And some would argue, don't take too much away from this. We've got a lot more up our sleeves. But now this is when it all matters. You need to acquire as many points from these 4 rounds as possible. It was going to be a Swiss format, but now we are in a round robin situation. So all these teams, one life against each other. It's all to play for. Let's talk about these bans. What do we have on display? Gul'dan, the first ban, as he's been played twice so far tonight, and the third Hanzo ban of the night. I don't think we're going to see this guy for quite a while.
No, I think he's just too good to let through in his current state, and a lot of teams do feel that. They just don't want to come up against it. He is quite squishy to dive, or any hard crowd control that you can put on him, but if he keeps that distance, the poke that he can bring, he very much has the range to dish out so much damage, and I think that's what teams are very, very much afraid about and don't really want to deal with. The Greymane, I really like the fact that he got through and he was taken. Also another powerhouse pick, and a very, very decent one at that, able to dive the backline. But the other Shimada brother, Skimmy, this I feel is going to be a talking point here. Paired with Uther, arguably one of his biggest counters, I'm already loving the draft, the way it's been going so far. Now, how do you respond? What would you like to respond with?
Yeah, I mean, this is the interesting point, right? This feels like, I'd argue it would be Coffee, who's going to be playing the Genji. It feels very much like a bit of a confidence statement. Look, we can play the Uther-Genji combination. We are going to just absolutely dominate you. We're going to style on you on top of all that. Sure, pick your Greymane. We do not seem to care, right? Now it's going to come down to how do they respond. You already mentioned it. I'd like to see them either pick up the Arthas or ban the Arthas away, because I think if they don't ban the Arthas, it's going to be quite scary. ETC and Stukov there. A couple of good options. Obviously, the mic check allowing you to just keep knocking people away with that face melt, as well as the Stukov with the flailing swipe, potentially. There's a few different options to try and play around with to not only set up their own wombo combo, but if things don't happen in a burst orientation like Genji's looking to achieve, they are suddenly in a lot of trouble.
Yep, it's a very, very smart pick, and I very much like it. As you said, that flailing swipe, just keeping Genji at bay if he does go the Dragon Blade, which might actually then opt Genji to go for a different heroic talent. We might even see that the very, very... I mean, we just don't see it X-Strike because it just doesn't have that high impact that we'd like to see, but it can be quite good if you just feel like you're just being hard counted and Genji. The Sonya ban as well. Sonya's another one that has really come into the spotlight with the changes that came across that to the support nerfs, as well as just all the changes around and the push. And she just fits that role so well, giving you another frontliner who can clear the lanes very effectively, as well as pressure the backline. She's just a very, very strong pick at the moment.
What this really tells me as well is that, yes, they are definitely thinking of that Alphas matchup to take themselves, but also the Sonya does a lot of work to shut down Genji. When he doesn't have that protected available, he is a sitting duck. If Sonya can jump on you, especially with the Poison Spear, that's half your health bar gone in an instance. That's forcing out resources from Ufa that he would otherwise like to use in different situations. Now, Ufa does have a lot of impactful cooldowns, but they are very long cooldowns at that. So an Ufa player definitely needs to be aware as to where he's positioned, as to how he's also using those cooldowns. So this is fantastic. The insight to see here that they do need to ban that Arthas will do so well. So much is shown that Arthas would be that go-to pick, but they are going to think about this one smartly. And now it's Darkside having to be a bit more creative with this one. They're not going to be given the dream comp, if you will.
Darksided now. They're saying, crap, they're onto us with that Arthas, but it's not down and out for them. So with that Uther, I mean, still achieves what they'd like. And then now you just be thinking, all right, what do we want that can then assist Genji? Who can then assist us to put that pressure, really lock down a target? And I think Tyrael might be a good option if you wanted to sort of get in there. He can also, with that Sanctification, really help against that mosh pit. We haven't really seen Tyrael since his rework being picked by anyone. I feel like Tomb can be a good map for him. Except I don't think we'd see him this early on. There'd probably be other priority picks that they want. I'm just thinking in the back of my mind, we could see a Tyrael coming out.
Yeah, I don't think the Tyrael's going to come out today. I think people are still trying to play around with it and just understand exactly where he fits in better. I have seen it in a few times in my games, and it does definitely have a lot of power, but I think at the end of the day, it is still the same presence of mind that he is a hero that is looking to either dive you, add some mobility, or go for that sanctification. Typically speaking, Tyrael is very popular in the Asian regions, be it China and Korea, but ANZ for the most part does sit on that pick quite a bit. Now the Ragnaros, if we know anything about ANZ or Darksided in particular, shows to us that Session has not died for anything. He is still alive in this team. This was a team known for making Lava Wava a thing, and they are keeping that true and trusted to their name, making sure that their team's identity is reserved in pack. Johanna is a fantastic pick as well, because in that wave that they need to allow Genji to bounce from lane to lane to find those kills, but also the Condemn, always a scary threat against the likes of ETC.
Yep. I mean, Johanna is pretty much my go-to when I see an ETC being picked, as long as she's not taken off the board. That just reliable crowd control she can offer, and then just the pressure she can put out on ETC, trying to be like, all right, just try and land the mosh. I dare you. Leoric as well. I mean, we saw him also being played in that first game, and we saw much of the Black King doing a lot of work. So I really like the Leoric pick. I feel like he works very, very well on Tomb of the Spider Queen as well, where you really just want to push the lane and move on.
Randy, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Is it too early?
It's got to be. It's not too early. It's never too early. Go on.
Is this happening right now? He is playing the Chromie. This is the one trick, one wonder, one dream player. The one that went to the world stage. And I called him as being the best player ANZ had to offer when it came to Chromie. And then he tilted and picked Temporal Loop, but now he never talks to me again. So let's see if he can redeem himself back on home soil. DS Hacky, the one known for Chromie. He is going to be busting it out. I'm sure chat is going to be very divided about this pick. But we are loading things up. Tomb of the Spider Queen, a dark-sided home crowd favorite, as we enter round number 3 for the 2018 Invitational Qualifiers.
Oh, that Chromie pick right there. Hacky was like, I just have to bring it out. We've seen how much impact, how much pressure can come out, to the point where we were just like, Hacky, they're already dead. Stop it. You're just bullying them at this point. And that is what his Chromie is known and feared for. And Tomb of the Spider Queen as well, Skimmy, we forgot one more little storyline to add in, was that this is Darksided's map. This was the map that they'd always bring, even against the heavyweights Nomia that used to be their biggest rivals. I mean, with Numia as well, still being the rivals, but Darkside, when they really had those wars of who was better, this is the map they pulled out when they really wanted to get that win. I'd like to see if Darkside, if Hacky, if he's kept the secrets, you know, almost the herbs and spices from KFC, if he's got that written down, but instead it's got Tomb of the Spider Queen, the formula for winning on it.
It gets better day and day there, Corey. But let's jump into it. We've spoken enough about this roster. It's Darksided, led by their captain, the sole remaining member, Hacky on his coveted Chromie, Deceptive Smurf on Ragnaros, Salamoon on Ufa, Doubt on Genji, and Azog on Johanna.
Wonderful stuff. And on the red side, we have the QM Warriors with Tommy playing Greymane, Ivalu on Stukov, Leica on ETC, Madhax playing Li Ming, and Sarah Lee on Leoric.
There we go, Hacky. This guy is straight up with this BM. This guy is definitely ready to rock and roll. He's making a statement saying, yes, things did happen overseas, but I'm back. This is my region, and we're not going to say that because we changed our roster, we are an easy team to beat.
Yeah. He's going to be looking to see if he can make those juicy plays. And arguably, I mean, with that Genji off, with the Genji secured by Doubt as well, it'll really ease, I guess, the pressure he can put on Chromie, because really, the backline is going to be Tommy just trying desperately to get to him. So he can pretty much sit quite safely.
Bouncing forward, lane to lane. Pretty standard stuff here on the map. What's really the strategy in this early game, early portion of Timber Spider Queen? You're looking to clear lanes, try and get that XP lead, but ultimately achieve more gems than your opponent. If you can try and dominate that wave clear, then you arguably control the hand point as well. You can see right now that is the quick match Warriors rotating through the mid lane. They are the ones with the greatest speed, which allows them to dictate team fights as well. If they want to go for a skirmish, they can potentially deny gems, which is a strategy in its own.
That is indeed, and one that we often see employed quite a lot in the ANZ scene. And with those rotations as well comes a chance to pick off an enemy and see if you can get a kill there. And then you can then snowball it. So I like this pressure coming out by Leica there. Power side, but he does get punished quite heavily for it with Sailor ready to bail him out. So great teamwork as well. They're going to be really babysitting Hacky a lot, I feel. Any chance of being dived, that's going to be their first point of call. Just trying to peel for Hacky.
Absolutely so, and rightfully so as well. He's the captain. I can imagine, as you would, pocket me. I am the captain. I've invited you into this brand. I do not want to lose. Otherwise, we have to resurge that meme of "we lose, boys," and it's far too early in the year. There's something new, something fresh. No dabs, no memes. Just straight new year, new me. Let's turn our attention to the bottom lane for the meantime, where it is Sorelli up against Deceptive Smurf. Leoric, for the most part, is definitely asserting his dominance in that lane. Ragnaros has gone for the Rag Hammer build, looking to one shot, or last hit those minions, I should say. He will have sustain built into that, but definitely if Drainhope connects, Leoric will win that every single day of the week. And as I speak of it, that is there for the gank.
He is indeed, but one thing as well I'd like to point out was that Consume Vitality was picked up by Sarah Lee as well. And basically what that means is he's going to be looking for the aggression in lane, because that will also return back his maximum health every time he lands a hit on Deceptive. So looking to play very, very aggressive and also keep that lane nice and pushed. I mean, you can already see he's doing a great job of it. 15 gems under his belt. So off to a good start on both sides, really.
A good start indeed. Very neck and neck at this stage. No clear advantage. Like a former tank player for the Crimson Gaming lads, now here. Still sticking true to his nature of being that warrior play. He is looking to try and find some advantages in the bottom lane as ETC, looking to power slide in, but it's not going to happen. Once again, Sorelli is the focus point as they try and bully him on down, and that does give some breathing room for Darkseid to deposit some gems. 26 out of the 50 required. That's 26 to 15, so leading in that category, and the XP as a result has now catched up to a healthy 5-all. Ooh, as I hold myself off there. Tommy is pretty low.
Tommy was very, very low. I thought he was actually going to fall there, but instead what fell was Madhax's connection to the game. So we have just a quick pause as a player has DC'd. This gives us a time to, I guess, better investigate some of the talents that we can see on screen as well that were being picked up. Nothing too different across the board. But what I was also liking to see now was that Ghastly Reach being picked up by Sarah Lee, so increasing the range of his skeletal swing. So like I said, he's really going to be looking to reduce the cooldown and have that up as much as possible, dealing maximum damage.
Yeah, which favours your point from before there, Corey, about the idea of him wanting to get amongst the fight, swing his hammer, get some health, and really be a nuisance, whether he's dead or alive, or wanting to constantly be a threat that can provide vision, be a solid tank, and definitely do his job in that capacity. Looks like these players are ready. We're getting the confirmation right now. We'll be able to jump straight back into this game. Before the pause did come out, a slight XP lead had been achieved by Darkseid, but it was all news on Tommy, who got dropped very, very low, and all eyes were on Hacky. Was he going to land the Dragon Breath? Was he going to get the one shot? It didn't happen, but it's only a test of time.
And Tommy had a nice payload of gems as well. I believe his team would have been able to pick them up, but still, you don't want to be the first blood. Not when you've already gone 4 minutes without seeing a drop yet.
Early days in this one. This is the true grand reveal of the new 2018 Darkside. It almost feels a bit like football, where you've done these transfers during the off-season. You've got all your players holding up their jerseys, saying, I'm so proud to be a part of this esteemed organization. And now we are getting to see it in an e-sport environment, a cyber sport version of that, where people are posting it in Twitter and ANZ chat. As crude as that might be, it is the equivalent we have right now. Sorelli going for the hand and not going to happen, as the living meteor comes from downtown. Still, you can sense the tension in the air right now, Vandy. These teams are hungry for the kill, but no one is overstepping their reach so far.
It's a very, very different game in terms of pacing to the one that we had before, isn't it? You can see both teams, they're almost like tightly wound up springs, and finally now with the blue web weavers descending, so the first hand will go to Darkside, and this is where I believe we can start to see some plays being made, because with the pushing that you can get from the web weavers, you're going to look to at least get a couple of kills, if not start to take down those structures, which is so, so important.
And this is pretty standard and fantastic timing at the same point as well for them. Picking up at level 7 when you've got that extra talent here, looking to try and then push on through. A couple of different strategies that you can have, obviously, is you go for it at level 7, look to try and push and get some much needed XP to win the race to 10, or you get it when you're very close to 10, and as soon as 10's achieved, with the web weaver still there, you're forcing fights, you're getting aggressive. So they've gone for the first, and now, as you say, they're looking to try and get down some structures, focusing in the top lane from the start.
Yeah, focusing on that top lane, seeing if they can get that down. But Leica, I like it. The way he's positioning, you can see he's not really allowing Hacky to set up too close, because if they were trying to defend from behind the wall, that just gives Hacky free reign right there in that fog. And look, he got so low as well by that orb coming out from Mad Hack. So they're just putting out that aggression, making sure Hacky's not given free reign to literally just take free shots on them. And I really, really like to see that from Quick Match Warriors. Like, they say that their name's got Quick Match in the title, but they are definitely playing like a very nice, very structured team.
That they are indeed. We talk about these almost Hero League-esque squads, but they go one step further and say, look, the only other mode that we can play in ANZ is Quick Match, and we're going to represent that name with pride. Quick Match Warriors. I love it. 5 stacking dirty dogs. Why not?
Have you versed these guys in Quick Match? I come up against them quite a lot, and I must say, they are quite formidable. Like, they love their Quick Match, and they're always playing, as you said, the sweaty compositions. I'm like, come on, I'm just trying to try out a Hanzo or something. And so I really like to, I want to see the transition from the Quick Match into some actual competitive play. Let's see if they can still keep that edge. So far though, as I said, very, very good. Lurking Arm now going out to zone. You can see the mini skirmishes happening, but neither team really wants to commit around the turn-in points.
Well, we're approaching that 7-minute mark, and still we wait for that first spot to come about. Mad Hack's nearly the next sniped target, but he does manage to teleport himself out of harm's way. And as this game seems to be foretelling, it's almost a case of let's wait for level 10, let's get our ultimates, and then the wheels will come off. Mad Hacks is down low, but the hill comes out in time. The one-shot potential wasn't just there yet. Bronze Talons might have been the icing on the cake, but still we wait, Bandy.
Also, another thing that I'd like to point out as well, with that push that Darkside got, it was great, sure, but they didn't get as much of an experience lead as you would have liked to see from having the first turn-in. Often what you see is you get 1 or 2 kills, or like I said, you really can then split and try to get as much of the structures down to give yourself a bit of that experience gain, and you can already see QM Warriors were having none of that. They were keeping up very, very well in experience, to the point now where both heroes have been equally locked, equally picked up at the same time, and I mean, they haven't even done their turning yet with QM Warriors, and that can also be another strategy that comes out where you delay your turn until you get at least a kill to make that push even stronger.
Well, there we go, enough time has been bought. Level 10s are unlocked for both of these teams. The hand-in does now in favour of the Quick Match Warriors go for them. And with those ultimates, what options do we have? The Flatting Swipe, as we imagine, allowing them to try and peel away the hyper carries such as the Genji. Entomb is also being locked in there to try and keep these members at bay, but the Mosh Pit, absolute presence of mind to make sure they can find some kills. Lava Smash is going to be the option, actually. I was going to say Lava Wave, but you know,
no, it's the Smash.
It is indeed, Bandy. Molten Core comes out. They're going to look to try and delay, I suppose, this mid lane for the meantime, but all eyes in the top lane right now for Quick Match Warriors as they look to try and get some structures down and try and build up a lead.
I can't wait to see one of these fights come out, because both teams have so much crowd control at their disposal, and we can also see a shielded Dragon Blade coming out, and that's just disgusting, dirty stuff that we've seen. Genji just can have free reign, he's just unstoppable, if you will, and he's got a lot of setup from his teammates as well. But look at this now, the Entomb goes out, and Deceptive is incredibly low. That's the pick that they finally were looking up, and that was a 9-minute-ish mark kill. I'm saying ish because I didn't quite see the exact timer. But Skivvy, that was a long time coming.
We waited and finally it delivered. It only took one mistake, and that was to overextend in the mid lane clearing. He came out of the Molten Core. He went for what he thought was a safe wave clear. But no. Swilly was there waiting with the Entomb, and that is what you have to be very scared of. He has the ability to lock you in place, combine it with a mosh pit. Amongst everything else, there is no chance of you escaping jail. It's almost like Alcatraz. Once you're in, well, there's only one way you get out.
I remember this now, what we were trying to make a thing, but you can see Doubt just trying to poke there, but Tommy's having none of it. This means that Sirili can finally now turn in the gems. Look at the way the rest of the team members are posed. And that beautiful silence, meaning that Hacky gets locked out. He couldn't even just try and get some poke in to stop the turn in. So these guys, the QM Warriors, they're really turning up the heat now with back-to-back turns.
And this is one of the benefits of playing it passive and not rushing for those kills during the early game, playing the XP game and playing the objective more than anything else. They had stocked up that many gems that they are able to now do back-to-back hand-ins. If not getting enough of a lead in the first place was good for them, well, now they're going to obviously build that one level lead into something more. Fort is already down. Keep is the next looming target. Boss is available after the Web Weaver phase is finished. It's a case of, when do we use our Entomb? Is anybody going to overextend again? Is anybody going to donate us a kill?
Yeah, and instead we can see Darksider, they're happy to just let that fort go because we can see the positioning of Deceptive. He went down the bottom lane to try and clear that one nice and early, and this time they didn't want to have that awkward, I guess, fight where he just got caught out by the Entomb. You can really start to see them back off once they don't know where QM Warriors are. And that's going to be pretty much the last of that turn now happening, and they've gotten a heap of structures, right, and a lot of experience under their belt as well. They had unlocked that level 13 talent tier advantage as well, but no, I guess, opportunities to fight. Darksided are also very, very aware that they would want to force a fight, and they're playing very passively as such.
Absolutely, they have to wait for level 13, and as a result, the QM Warriors want to play this one systematically. They're taking down the fort in every single lane, and they're opening up all the room in the world for them. They find once again another Entomb. Oh, a fantastic timeout, followed by the lurking arm. Wasn't proving to be enough. The timing's slightly off, but it does breathe some room into the Starksided roster. Another kill like that would put them back even further, but the fight now does break out regardless. Looking to try and force this one. Smash comes across, Doubt jumps in. He finds the first kill. There's the Divine Shield now, looking for a second. Can he land it? Ivaloo is low. He's doing whatever he can, but it's not going to be enough. Separated from the team, and suddenly the explosive start we expected from Darksided on home soil now starts to come alive.
Yep, they've completely flipped the tempo of the game where they were saying, hey, QM Warriors, I mean, that's great. Look at how many structures you've got. It's our turn to take some now. And really Hacky, just by wasting so much of their time with timeout, funny, I guess, play of words right there, but it really, really helped. Yes, the cooldown of Entomb is relatively low at 50 seconds, but they were counting on that kill, the positioning as well of them. As you could see, when they were flipped on their head, like, it was just a very, very awkward team fight because they weren't in their ideal positions. Like, it was just like, well, I can't go in right now, no one's in position to follow up.
Blue Web Weavers pushing, doing what they can. What looked like an advantageous situation for the QM Warriors proved to be, well, completely the opposite, quite frankly. They went for the kill on towards Chromie, and just like that, Darksided have the presence of mind, the understanding of this game. They know when to pull the trigger, and they pulled it pretty hard there. 2 kills to start off their campaign for the 2018 circuit. Now Deceptive is going to get into this Molten Core. Fantastic swing of the hammer. That's going to be a wombo combo. Looking for one. Tommy is low, down to 200. Sweet dreams to him. Ooh, Mad Hack so low, and he doesn't get away. The Molten Core shreds him with that smash from downtown, and now they look to do the complete domination. 3 members down so far. Reset City, it's coming on up. There he goes, one. Oh dear, that's what you expect to see from a Chromie. It's just one shot potential, and now it's Leoric and a dream. It's not looking as sharp as it once was for QM Warriors.
No, and this is, I guess, the interesting natures of Heroes of the Storm. I mean, you can think a team's doing all the right moves, but then just like one misjudged fight, and you can already see that was all Darksided were waiting for. And with that small little, I guess, kill that they got, they managed to snowball it so far to the point now where they're going to get the boss quite easily, and we can see QM Warriors are not even able to contest because they don't yet have that level 16, only now being unlocked. So boss will fall, and that'll put even more pressure on that already low keep. And this could be the final push now. If Darksided escort that boss and play their cards right, this could be the game-winning push that they're looking for.
I think there's two situations that present themselves right now. The aggressive play will be, let's get this boss, the keep's already down to half, let's get the keep, let's get a kill, let's go for the end. The safe, more defensive play would be, they only need another 6 gems to get a back-to-back hand in. This boss on its own should quite rightly just take up this keep for free. They could then slowly and methodically take this map down. But what we knew Darksided for 2017 was they played aggressive. They weren't a macro-heavy team like Nomia. Is this the identity, the shape of what they do want to present for us in 2018? We are about to find out. And yes, it is so far. Greymane falling on through. The flailing swipe fantastically juked because the Divine Shield was there to allow doubt all the stickiness in the world. And like it in downturn, doing a mosh pit onto free. It doesn't matter when your backline is getting shredded. 3 people down, the boss is on the core. The core is falling. A slow game to get the wheels off with. But Vandy, we reached it in the end, 9 kills to 1, and Darksided start off 2018 with a bang.
They really, really do. But QM Warriors, as I said, they didn't really do much wrong. In fact, they were doing everything right. It was just that Hacky refused to die. He had the timeout ready. And I guess they weren't also wanting to overcommit the QM Warriors for that kill over there when they had the Entomb. They were so sure that that would just be enough with the orb as well to just get the kill. They didn't want to overcommit the resources, but the fact that Hacky lived and then just they were awkwardly trying to run away, trying to escape, and that's when Darksided were able to engage. It was just very, very unfortunate. But otherwise, both teams played spectacular. That was a very, very enjoyable game to watch. And Darksided, as you said, the aggression that they're known for definitely came out in this fight. But as well as with that boss, they had all the time in the world to escort it in, see what happened. I mean, if the boss dropped to half and nothing was happening, they could easily just rely on that turn. So I like that they were willing to make the aggressive play instead of being like, oh, let's just leave the boss to do his own thing while we just go turn in the gems. So yeah, just a sensational game.
Well, that wraps it up for round number 3. 1 round left to finish off the very first night, the first week of 4 in total for the 2018 Invitational qualifiers. And when we do return, round number 4, the final one, it's Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, once known as Darksided, up against Unreal Aussies Eggplants. Don't go anywhere, and we'll be back in 5 minutes.